Hi, my name is Seymour. Today's discussion is on vital health. I have to say my perspective of why we are here is we are here to grow. Very similar to a tree that can live hundreds and maybe thousands of years. As long as that tree is growing, the tree stays alive. So we are here to grow. The body protects, the body's referred to as the temple, right? Temple of the soul. And the soul is here to grow. So in order to sustain the growth of the soul, the body gets to be in a vital health condition. So how do we achieve this vital health condition? From the energetic perspective, ultimately, everything is composed of energy, whether you call that gravity, a downward force, or electromagnetic forces that move up, or forces that hold things together, forces that move things apart. Everything is composed of energy. From the Asian perspective, Chinese and Japanese background, these forces were called the forces of nature. The forces of nature were termed the yang force, which comes from the heaven and goes down. Yang qi, yang life force, yang energy. Qi means life force or energy. Then you have the yin force, which moves up from the earth. So from the heaven above, from the earth below, we create a balance of these two opposite forces. Maintaining a balance between those forces allows us to carry through our desires in life, our ability to evolve our soul. If the forces of heaven and earth are too extreme, are too much in flux, an example comes to mind of fever with chills. So there's too much heat, there's too much cold, then the body loses its ability to sustain our vital energy, and we split, we die, we go move on to another dimension, okay, wherever you want to take that. So why we're here? We're here to grow. We're here to grow for self. When I use the word self, instead of regarding the self as a historical storyline, I'm referring to self as our unique soul nature, our unique inner soul essence, our presence. So we have a self growth that's very, very important, and our individual way of achieving self growth is very unique. We'll discuss that. And the social soul, we're also here to affect and help others to grow. So we're here to receive, we're here to express. Those are two polarities. So what sustains us as we're growing within these two forces, for self and for others, is the forces of nature, the opposite polarities of life. The opposite polarities of life, heaven's force, earth's force, various seasons, are here to help us grow through adversity. If we're too constricted, whatever situation is causing this, then we get to learn from it. If we're too expanded, then that may create a challenge. And ultimately, we're both. And the challenge is that those extremes hold within our body, soul, spirit, motivate us to grow. So life, polarity, opposites, happen for us to evolve our soul. As our soul is growing, developing, learning, we also have the ability to help others to grow as well. Vital health, the balancing and adaptability of these forces of nature, allows us to continue growing, living. How do we achieve this vital health? We have three components of vital health: physical health, emotional health, and spiritual health. Physical is maintenance of the body. We maintain the body in an ideal vital health condition, physically. So all the organs, everything's working well. Emotional health means that we use the power of feelings generated through our interactions with others that we're here to support, as they are here to support us. Those feelings that come up that we call emotion, energy in motion. Yeah? We get to find a balance of those movements. We get to adapt to the ups and downs of our emotional energy and motion. As we balance and adapt, we grow. Emotional growth through relationships. And we also have spiritual growth. Spiritual growth means connecting ourselves and growing into a bigger picture than just our daily goals and desires. Of course, it starts with self first, then our family, close friends, and eventually a much wider perspective. Everyone has these inclinations to grow. What am I doing today that enhances my body, my temple, the temple of my soul? What am I doing today to further my ability to help myself as well as help others on a physical basis? What am I doing today emotionally that helps me to adapt to the ups and downs and changes, the polarities of life? What am I doing today to grow emotionally? And what am I doing today spiritually that enhances my bigger picture of life? And skills like intuition come together with spiritual health. So we're going to get into these in one moment. Physical health, I'm going to divide as number one, to conduct the forces of heaven and earth in a way that sustains physical health. A very important tool is body alignment. So if my alignment is out of balance in some way, right, then the ability to conduct those forces of energy becomes hampered. And that will lead to extremes. Extremes, again, like hot and cold, if they're too extreme, if expansion or contraction is held in a way that's too extreme, then that works against our ability to grow in a healthy way. So we're looking for body alignment to let our energy flow in a balanced way that is uniquely important for each person's personal growth. And these are common alignment skills that when you take my classes, you'll learn these. I'll give you an example. Heaven's force above, Earth's force below. A very, very common example of misalignment is the way our knees are held. So if I'm standing and my knees go in, I'll just do one. Now my weight, the weight of my body, instead of being distributed to the earth, is now going to my knee. And this causes knee problems, as well as other scenarios, because everything that happens on the outside is connected to some internal connection, some internal organ, some function on the inside. Over the head, chin down. It's as if we're being suspended from above. Shoulders drop. The weight goes slightly to the outside of our feet. If my knees go in, I'm exaggerating this. If you hold this for too long, you're going to eventually get knee problems. So head up, shoulders relaxed, knees out. Slightly, just slightly. So there's more weight a little bit to the outside of our feet, outside of center. That's the strongest part of the foot. Lift, make yourself taller with the chin down, eyes looking downward at about a 45-degree angle. Tongue resting on the roof of the mouth behind the upper teeth. This connects heaven and earth. And it also creates saliva, which is very healthy. The production of saliva is considered a treasure in Chinese medicine. And we'll get into breathing later. First, we just want to go over the alignment. Okay? For now, just breathe slowly. Through your nose. Walking. So if I take a step, and my knee goes in slightly, so normal walking is heel to toe. But if I take a step where my knee goes in, eventually doing this over and over and over again, over years and years and years, this is very common. Eventually, there's going to be knee pain, knee problems. So the way to walk is from the center. I walk as if someone's pulling me or pushing me from behind, and my feet follow my body, my center. So imagine I'm being pushed and my feet follow, forward or back, toe to heel or heel to toe. I'm moving and my feet are just supporting me. My feet are under my shoulders and weights on the outside of my feet. Moving. Instead of taking a big step and chancing that my knees might go in. So instead of moving from the legs, we move from the center and the body follows. Okay, now when I'm bending, really important. A lot of people bend and stick their butts out like this. This arches the back. This is very, very dangerous for our chi, for our well-being and alignment of the body. Whenever we bend our knees, it's essential to tuck the pelvis under. So when you pick something up, this can be very therapeutic, as long as the alignment is in the right place. Pelvis tucked, knees out, weights on the outside of the feet, lifting the head. There's a straight line from my tailbone to the top of my head. If I'm going to pick something up, I'm leaning forward from below my navel. My back is straight. It's just on a little angle. And I pick up with my legs, keeping that same alignment. Imagine I'm lifting, keeping that same alignment. If you're bending, squatting, and you're lifting your heels up, then that puts pressure on the knees. The knees have no support here. This will eventually hurt our knees. And you can have your knees out and the toes out. Just make sure if you're bending like that, the weight is on the outside of the feet still. Because if that knee goes in, you can hurt your knees. Okay? So you can do this and make sure your butt is tucked under. Okay, so even with wide, and this is a great exercise, as long as you do it right. Pelvis needs to be tucked, only go as far down as you can. Knees out, pelvis tucked under. Okay, and when we're climbing, weights on the outside of my foot, and I lift, that tucks my pelvis under me. So climbing can be a great exercise as long as we keep our alignment. We're bending from below our navel with a straight line towards the top of the head. Never bend at your solar plexus. To maintain and enhance physical health over years and years and years, it is essential that we breathe in a way that harmonizes and enhances life instead of breathing in a way that challenges our life force. There's lots of breathing approaches, therapeutic breathing approaches. The very simple and most important life-enhancing breath, simple abdominal breathing. Put your thumb on your navel, your other hand on your wrist, and put your fingers below the navel. This is where we're going to breathe into. This is called, in Chinese, traditional Chinese philosophy and medicine, the dantian. It's actually the center of the body. So when I stand, if I'm raising my hands up like this, yeah, then from here to here is the center of my physical body. So that's called the dantian. We want to breathe into here. Thumb on the navel, fingers below the navel, or just like this. This might be easier to see, and it's like a bowl. So we're breathing into this bowl, this reservoir. Breathe down the front, up the spine. If you want to visualize an orbit, an elliptical pathway. Inhale down the front, belly rises on the inhale. Inhaling, rising on the belly. Exhale, collapse the belly slightly. This is how all animals, all babies breathe. Belly rises, expands on the inhale, and exhale collapses. Again, lift the head from above, chin down, eyes 45-degree angle, looking down. What's important about this breath is for the lung to fill up completely, therefore pushing on the diaphragm, and that's what expands the belly. So slow, long, deep breaths. You can take a small amount of air in. It sinks deeply. It's a slow breath. And the chest is stationary. The chest being stationary allows a full lung breath. Now, there may be therapeutic reasons to use the chest in this kind of motion, okay? For calming and grounding and full lung filling up breath, we keep the chest relaxed, still. So that way the lung fills up completely, goes to the diaphragm pushes the belly out. On the inhale and exhale, the diaphragm goes back up. To exhale, it's very important. Inhale, belly rises, exhale, belly collapses. You may notice if you're breathing through your nose, you're starting to develop more saliva. That saliva is being charged by heaven's and earth's forces. And you can move it around in your mouth and then swallow. This helps digestion, and the saliva being charged carries electricity, carries chi to the whole body. Sometimes it's referred to as the dew, like a tree has dew, the dew of heaven and earth. Some say that we only have so many breaths during the duration of our life. So to live a long life, it's important to breathe slowly. Yeah? So even doing fast activities, depending on the activity, just generally speaking, even when doing fast activities like running or walking fast, breathe slowly. Breath. So far in our physical tool bag, we have alignment of the body, breath. And alignment and the body and breath go in the category of a bigger category called exercise, movement. Exercise is movement with breathing, okay? So we've looked at that. Next, perhaps the most important physical enhancement that we have, the most important physical practice that we use daily to keep us healthy and to enhance our health is sleep. Sleep seems like a quiet activity, a resting activity. That's only on the outside. This is a great example of yang qi and yin qi, is while we may seem restful and yin, quiet on the outside, on the inside we're regenerating. This is when we actually grow physically, when we're sleeping. So cells that are dying are being regenerated while we sleep more than any other time. So that yoga class or that chi exercise alignment that we've done benefits us most, takes effect while we're in a deep state of rest. So the ability to sleep deeply and create this highly important regenerative state is perhaps the most important physical tool that affects all our systems, emotional and spiritually, when we're sleeping. In our dream, we have a dream to fulfill. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Yeah? This is how to fulfill, meant to be of our dream in life, our purpose. So sleep, very, very important. And in our workshops, you will learn the tools necessary to enhance all of these. Okay? Food. Now, without going into all the ins and outs of nutrition, what I'm suggesting is that food is also a balance. So there's some foods that contract us. There's some foods that expand us. So those forces of contraction and expansion, the ability to hold things together, the force that moves things apart, are contained within foods as well as within ourselves and as well as within the entire universe. So what's most important about food is that we find our own individual balance. So some people will be able to tolerate foods that are more contracted. Like a contracting food, for example, is hard-boiled eggs with salt. If you eat hard-boiled eggs with salt, well, it may be a wonderful food for some people. If you eat that too much, if you're on a salted hard-boiled eggs diet, you're going to start to feel your outer body getting very, very contracted, okay? And you're going to feel it in your inner body, inside your intestines, can get really tight. So then we crave the opposite, which could be at least fluid, sweets, even champagne. If we're too tight, we're going to crave the opposite. And the body is doing its best to make a balance. And that particular balance is very extreme. And that may actually create symptoms like constipation. Right? The tightness could make the intestines very, very tight, and that could create constipation. And then the balancing by having some champagne breakfast, this champagne brunch kind of thing, right? Champagne brunch is a balance for eggs and champagne. That actually creates a balance. Coffee will also create more of an upward balance to this contraction. And that may be too much for the body to bear over a long period of time. And ultimately, that will create some kind of symptom to tell us the balance is too extreme. Find a balance that's a little more centrally moving. It's not like we have too much contraction, or we have too much expansion. We always have a balance of both, and it's the extremes of those two happening simultaneously in the body that makes dis-ease. And dis-ease is a signal to change, just like the oil light goes on in your car, just like your gas meter gets on empty. So those are powerful symbols that we get time to change, time to create a better balance in the body. So the balance of food is necessary, and all of these tools I'm generalizing about, or that I'm outlining, all go into more depth in further studies. I have a Shaping Our Destiny workshop that teaches people more than just the outline, actual in-depth details about how to find these balanced tools, how to find the tools that help to create our own individual balance in life. Right? So we're looking for a balanced food experience that helps us to and enhances our ability to conduct the forces of nature. A very important point on food, before I go on, is you'll hear the expression, you are what you eat. So the food, the proteins, the carbohydrates, the fats and oils, the minerals and vitamins, all that we take in through food, has certain qualities that eventually nourish ourselves to regenerate the tissues that are dying all the time. So cells are dying and new cells are being born all the time. So people will say, well, depending what you put in your body is what creates your body. I would say more importantly is it's not necessarily what you're eating, it's what you're not excreting. So if I have a problem excreting a particular food, whatever that might be, my system, it's just a mismatch for my system, then that food will have trouble leaving my body through the intestines or through the pores or through the breath. That food will start manifesting as a quality in my tissues. This is a very fascinating perspective. Here's an example. Let's say I have difficulty eliminating, excreting milk from my body, for whatever reasons it might be. Then eventually that milk that's staying in my body will start to create tissues that feel milky. If I have trouble excreting eggs from my body, then my tissues will start to feel like the texture of eggs. And now this is for further study. And then another scenario is, well, where do these go? If I'm having difficulty eliminating something from my body, where's it going to show up? Eggs will go down, and they're attracted to the eggs of a woman. If she has difficulty excreting them, then that may eventually form accumulations in the ovaries. Right? This is an energetic perspective. Proving this according to science, well, you have quite a difficulty doing that. This is what energetic cultures studied in folklore medicine. So I just want to put that out there. So a big element of shaping our destiny and the work I teach is how to read the body and how to figure out what's going on the inside based on some of these principles and practices. Okay, so there's food. Next, and maybe the most important influence in health maintenance and in health enhancement and in the growth of a healthy body that houses the soul is emotions. Energy in motion. Feelings. Take a breath. Scan your body. What do you physically feel? What are the sensations physically that you're perceiving? So right now, it's hot in here, there's lights. I'm feeling a mild perspiration throughout my body. And it's not everywhere. It's over here. It's a little bit over here. Okay? Those are physical sensations. The physical sensations that we have within us are energy sources. If I need energy because I'm feeling a little sluggish or tired, I'll breathe. Take more oxygen in and let more carbon dioxide out. That'll help balance the pH of my body, or it'll help me balance and maintain my homeostasis. And I might even get more vitality and energy from that breathing. Breath is outside. Or maybe my blood sugar level's a little low. So I'll have something to eat. That food comes from outside and it helps me to gain energy. Regulates my blood sugar level on the inside. So those two sources of fuel are from the outside. Emotions are the only source of energy that are contained. Emotions are the only source of energy that are contained inside of us. So if I make a loud, sudden noise, feel your body. Where do you feel that? Where is it? If I do it again, where is it? It's different for all of us. Because every body is different. So any kind of surprise, let's say, or any kind of inspiration, any kind of stress, any kind of joy has a physical sensation located in 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 places in the body. So learning how to use our emotions is very simply using the physical sensations, of an emotion and letting it run as an energy source to whatever part of the body needs it. Nobody gives me anger. If I have anger, it's in there already. And we have all of these emotional category names. I'm suggesting that those are just words. Anger is just a word. There's a physical sensation that I experience when I get frustration moving through me that may be different than yours, and most likely is always different than someone else's. This is the beauty of the individuality of every person. We feel differently than others. And so we get to use those feelings as energy sources for healing. And in my classes, we go through methods that help us to do that. Okay? So emotions are a very, very vital source of energy that come up in the environment of others to remind us of energy challenges that exist within each of us. Life, people, happens for our individual growth, for us to grow. And as long as we learn to use them, then they benefit our life, longevity, and enhancement, instead of them using us. So that's emotions as a summary, right? And these are the 3 basic components of vital health. So we've got the physical and we've got the emotional we've spoken about. Next is spiritual recommendations. Okay? What's a spiritual recommendation? You'll hear lots of these. Very, very simple one. Be now, right? Be in the now. Be present. That's the gift of life, the ability to be present. So people meditate, yeah? Meditation is a way of teaching us by being in the present moment of how to be more present. So instead of going, well, what happened in the past? Then why is that happening to me again now? And how is that going to affect and project into my future? Meditation is the skill of being in the present moment, breathing, quieting the body, creating more of an empty stillness so that wisdom can be pulled into that vacuous state. So meditation is considered a spiritual practice. And I'm suggesting that the purpose for any spiritual recommendation, whether it's walking along the beach and touching more of a still place within, a relaxed place within, sitting on a hilltop and just breathing the beautiful air, any kind of spiritual recommendation that helps us to get a sense of a bigger picture, a sense of our purpose, a sense of our dream, a sense of just what I'm choosing to do in my life, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Is it moving me closer to my dream? My way, my own personal way of being in the world so that I can have enhanced vital health and support and help others too. What spiritual practices bring us to the point of receiving, cultivating inner vitality, and also coming up with the choices that help us to overflow from our own vital health and help other people? Receiving, expressing, balance. And you may say that when all of these line up, do you know what we usually call that? Love. So the affectionate feeling, the connected feeling within self and with others in a way that is so grateful and so appreciative, that helps the body. It's a combination of physical, emotional, and spiritual integrity lined up in a balance that creates vital health for self and others. With others, it's an emotional, spiritual, and physical place that's all combined so that one plus another connecting and others, I feel greater than the sum of our parts. You may say that is what love is, where people connecting feel greater than the sum of their parts. And when we feel that great, it manifests as affectionate appreciation of other people, because they help us to appreciate ourselves. Others helping us to appreciate ourselves. And therefore we're growing. And when we're growing, we're getting better. We're being enhanced. The soul is growing. We are evolving. And this is a continuous cycle. And that cycle happens within adversity. So love, soul evolution, growth. This happens within the ups and downs of adverse scenarios that happen in our life. When we're actually in that state of love and we feel that inspiration and passion, that's how the body charges up. It's the receiving part. It's the fulfilling part that is so essential to charge our batteries, to charge the energy forces within us so that we can continue to grow. Okay? And in order to actually grow, adverse extremes will come up in our life. And the ability to use them instead of them using us is what actually makes us grow to higher levels of love, of appreciation, of growth and soul evolution. Where do you feel that? Breathe, scan your body. When my relationships bring me closer to my reason for being here, to my growth, my relationships bring me closer in the evolution of my soul. Feel that move through your body. And the most important spiritual tool that helps us to gain this high level of operation as a soul, that tool is intuition. Intuition is the ability to know, to feel, yes, this is truth. It's the ability to turn drama into dharma, okay? Our real, genuine truth. Something can be true on an intellectual level. Okay? So, broccoli has vitamin C in it. Vitamin C is an essential vitamin for the growth of the body, let's say. Or it has calcium, and calcium actually helps the bones. These are intellectual as well as quite true scenarios, okay? And intuition is, what's best for my health right now? I'm making a food decision. Is it A or is it B? Intellectually, I could say that broccoli and squash soup are pretty healthy. Most people would agree those are pretty healthy. So most people is a social consciousness. A book consciousness is when I look at all the ingredients and all the vitamins and minerals and other essential nutrients that are in that food that will make them healthy according to what a book says. Intuitive consciousness is breathe, quiet, and includes all levels of consciousness, helps my physical survival. It looks good, it smells good, helps my sensorial consciousness. Okay. Intellectually, when I look it up on my search engine, wow, there's a lot of great nutrients in there, so therefore that food is healthy. Intellectual consciousness. Emotional consciousness reminds me of that time at Thanksgiving when my mom made that delicious squash soup. It was just such a great feeling that I had with my parents and my family and the kids, and it was just so emotional and nurturing. I want some more of that. Okay? By the way, our first experience of love, after a scary situation of going down the birth canal and all of these lights are on us, we experienced at mother's breast sweet, creamy foods. So we were imprinted with love and nurturing and safety with sweet, creamy foods. And to this day, when people are looking for a little more love and nurturing, what do we go for? So all of these are connected. Physical, emotional, spiritual. The highest level of intuition, I'm saying, is we're making choices that include all levels of consciousness. So I diverged there. So there was an emotional connection to a particular food, right? We eat emotionally, yeah? We also eat socially. What's going to help the planet? Yeah? We make choices that are socially oriented. Did I recycle today? Yeah, I'm going to take the extra time to recycle rather than just throw it in the trash, because that's better for the world that I serve and that also serves me. Okay? Philosophically, what's closer to my life purpose? What decision am I going to make that brings me to my life purpose? And the best tool to do that is intuition. So intuitive consciousness is a truth that embraces all other levels of consciousness. So rather than making up a rational lies of why I might want to eat particular foods or a particular diet, rather than make an analyzed decision, intuition will cover all of that. Go to the menu. I'm just gonna, like a Ouija board, what helps me on all levels of consciousness? Let my finger pick this. I love that food. Wow. And it's healthy too. That's what I'm speaking about when I'm talking about an intuitive decision. Okay? It's a genuine, all-fulfilling truth. And to develop intuition, we have exercises that teach us to recognize an intuitive sensation. An intuitive sensation, as an example, is like a chill. If somebody says something that's very profound and you get a chill, you go, wow, that's deep. That's true. It's true on all levels. So we all have signals like the chill. Some people see, some people hear, right? Some people have a kinesthetic sense. Okay? So we teach people to understand, to recognize their intuitive signals in contrast to their signals of interference. Blah, 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 blah. That's interference, like a radio signal. So we develop the ability to tune in and get right on the perfect frequency where the signal comes in as truth and harmony, and it sounds great. Right? So that's intuitive, training ourselves to comprehend, to recognize intuitive signals that guide us really quickly. So those are the tools that we go through in my workshops: physical, emotional, and spiritual / intuitive tools to bring us closer to our Tao. Tao is our way in Chinese philosophy, our own personal way that is also integrated with the way of other people who I help and serve, and who serve and help me. Okay? Thank you so much for listening. And if you have any questions on the Shaping Our Destiny workshop or sessions with me that help people to find this space on more of an individual level, then please contact me. And namaste, ciao for now, and hope to meet you, see you, talk with you soon. All my best. Bye.